My apologies to the amazing doctors in this room, but we're all human. Everybody makes mistakes, and understanding your precision blueprint is key to longevity and to optimize your health. So I teach people about investing in their health. I'm here to empower you to live longer lives. And I'm born in the Seychelles Islands, half German, lived in the States, as you can hear from my accent. I think the future of medicine is going to be in frequencies. I'll get into that a little later. This was Albert Einstein, Tesla, and energy never dies. So when you think about time, most of us in this room may or may not experience 80 summers. Let that sink in. What you're doing at the age of 20, what you're doing at the age of 40 is going to decide your life later on. These are one of the statistics, and I think knowledge is power. Don't be afraid to find out more in your body, because if you wait until later, you cannot be preventative in your health care and the quality of your life. They even say that some of the statistics now, 1 out of 2.1 women will get cancer, and 1 out of 2 men will get cancer. It's younger and younger. I don't know if you guys seen Dr. Mark Hyman recent post. We are getting unhealthy younger. So this is my show. I host doctors and experts in longevity and biohacking, and I also believe in body, mind, soul. I don't think that there's only deep dive diagnostics and what's going on the inside, but also your spiritual, coherent energy and what's going on with your motherboard, your nervous system. So I have had friends like Dan Buettner, where we talk about, natural, holistic, Dave Asprey, the father of biohacking, Jeffrey Allen, who's a pioneer in bioenergy healing and Mind Valley coach, Brian Johnson. I also think he's pushing the envelope in the way that we need. And my goal is to teach you about the big 5. What do you need to be considering in your blueprint so that you're prepared for everything? First of all, toxins. We are infested with toxins in the air we breathe, in the planes that we sit in, microcurrents, and are you really checking what's going on? If you go to the regular doctor, they're not really even checking you for mercury. When I started out in my journey, I got really, really unwell, and it was really a scary time. You never really think things are going to happen to you. You think you're invincible until it hits you or someone that you love. And so I went through these diets. I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian, and then I became hangry for steak in the morning because I forgot my vitamin B supplements. Then I became a pescatarian because I didn't want to eat the animals, and I didn't want to eat pork because sometimes the way they kill the pork, the cortisol goes into the blood, and you eat that. That goes into your body. And so then I went to do testing, and I had a huge list of heavy metals. I went to Lanzerhof, and I saw things like huge mercury, arsenic. I was like, wow, arsenic, where's that coming from? And then I Googled it, and it was in rice. There's mold in coffee. So I really learned by doing with all these different diets, checking my blood work over the last 15 years. And one day I was in London after being a pescatarian, and my staple food was salmon, eggs. I eat a lot of salad. I eat a lot of vegetables. I love that stuff, being from the Seychelles and growing up in nature, and my mother being a great cook. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel well, and I went and did a mercury test, and on a scale of 1 to 7, I was a 23. So that was really shocking, and I decided to get real serious about my health even more. I read the book, The China Study, Alkaline Acidic Food, Yin Yang, understanding what food and nutrition can do for us. And by the way, the reason we're all getting sick is because we have nutrition deficiencies or high toxins, and we're just not really aware of them because they're hiding everywhere. So understanding your mitochondria and cell membrane function on the deeper layer and doing these tests, which I've done a lot. I go to a lot of biohacking summits. I go to a lot of amazing longevity clinics. So I've learned a lot about all these different tests, and I'm here to share them with you. Detect tumors early. I always say that you can do blood work, but you've also got to check under the hood of your car, under your skin. You cannot see if tumors are growing on a blood work. I lost my beloved father this May, And it was a shock because I told him a year and a half earlier, Papa, be sure that you're getting an MRI, either a full body MRI. I highly recommend that you try from the urothelial to your thyroid to get an MRI or a CT scan, because there's no other way that you're going to find out about this stuff. He went in for a kidney failure because he missed the infection. When he went into the hospital, we found out he had metastasized stage 4 cancer, lung and liver. It was a shock. And what happened was he fell through the cracks of the system, because in January he did blood work and his liver enzymes were perfect. So what went wrong? Our system is outdated. Allopathic medicine is the way to treat symptoms, not to go to the root of the problem. So we are here, you're meeting some great minds at this conference who are really passionate about going to the root of the problem. And that's why it's so important that you invest in your health. This is going to be the most important job of your life. It's not about having a family. It's not about finding love or a partner, although love is medicine. It'll be about being the CEO of your health and your life. And some of these tests, you only need to do them once in your life and you're good. So just understand your blueprint and take the time. You're great about spending money on that vacation, that new car, that new sofa, whatever outfit that you want. Spend it on you. Spend it on you and understand who you are really deep down. Personalized medicine through genomics, understanding your genetic code, genomics. I'm going to talk about Intellx DNA. There are a lot of different companies, whether you're in the States or in Europe, but understanding your imbalances so you can counterbalance those imbalances and optimize your health and the quality in your years. I don't really think it's about longevity. I think it's really about the quality of your years and optimizing your health and your body. Forensic microbiome, your gut is your immune system. What's going on here, your brain and gut connection, we're going to get into that. Your microbiome, if your bacteria is off, if certain bacteria are missing, you're actually not functioning at your full capacity. So we'll get into that later. Methylation, one of the best tests you can do, $600, best investments. If you're imbalanced somewhere, you're maybe missing enzymes, you have the MTHFR. If you just understand that, one-time test you ever do in your life, you can take some supplements and counterbalance. Here's my methylation test. I look good, right? I'm like fit. You would think everything's perfect on the outside. Here's my methylation test. Here's what's going on under the hood of my car, under my skin. So what I found out is these yellow signs. I did it with Gary Brecka, who's now with 10X Health. Also Selfdecode. By the way, if you use my code, Natalie, I have a website at the end of the slide. You'll get a QR code. You can go to my website and you can see these 5 must-do tests with the links to go get them and enter the code. So don't worry, you'll be able to find that at the end. So for me, what I found out was I have trouble methylating. I need enzymes. You obviously also need to do an intolerance test, understand if I'm gluten and lactose intolerant. So I need to avoid green tea, quercetin, certain type of B12, folic acid. So now I know my precision blueprint, my life book, and I can avoid and counterbalance issues ahead of time and be preventative. Epigenetics. Epigenetics is your oxidative stress, your environmental factors, potential trauma that you've had in childhood that's affected your immune system and therefore affected your movement forward. So I did Intellx DNA Genomics, an amazing company, IGL, for oxidative stress. And you can uncover roots for chronic illness or dis-ease. I like to separate that word because dis-ease is something that we also have in our mind and can create. So how do we make sure that we don't trigger the genes, the variants that we have, to go rogue and to turn bad? So what I found out is I have the G6PD gene variant. That means that I'm not supposed to have white fava beans, for example, and I'm not supposed to do high doses of vitamin C IV drips, which are sometimes really healthy if you get into a situation or even chronic illness, and BDNF. So what do I do now? I take BDNF supplements at night and membrane bend from Quicksilver Scientific. I looked into this because my mother started 2.5 years ago with Alzheimer's, signs of Alzheimer's, and she's taking care of her to the best of my ability, and I don't have the APO4 gene. So where was it coming from? So I realized I have brain-derived neurotropic factor. So I have a little bit of a weakness and an imbalance. If my mother would have started taking these supplements 10 to 20 years ago and made sure that her hormones were balanced, she may have been able to avoid this. So here I am now able to take these supplements and regulate my body based on my blueprint. ProgenaBiome is an amazing microbiome company. I'm actually on the board with Dr. Sabine Hazan. She's incredible. She does forensic analysis of your poop and tests your microbiome. It's a clinical trial. She's also one of 2 doctors successful in feces transplant. So I highly recommend doing them. There's a lot of different microbiome gut tests out there. I think I've tried 6 of them. And some of them go on the deeper layer and to understand the bugs that are in your system. By the way, if you've been vaccinated, they have some videos, YouTube videos, and proof that your bifidobacteria is weakened by each injection. So if you know that, you can go and try and take bifidobacteria to rebalance your microbiome gut. She's got a great book out there, Let's Talk Shit, and Gut Instinct. So I really highly recommend this as a microbiome gut test. So when my test came back, again, I thought, I'm good, I'm rocking, I'm healthy, you know, and this is what came back. Since my overload on the mercury and different heavy metals, I'm someone that avoids fish. I'd rather take fish oil or omega-3s. So you can see I have, I avoid my intolerances. I know and I'm aware, so I have 0 inflammation and I have 0 infection. I don't eat sushi. I don't eat raw. I avoid anything that could bring a parasite into my area because I'd rather avoid a parasite cleanse. Those would kind of suck for a couple weeks. But what showed up is I have dysbiosis in my microbiome gut. I have a metabolic imbalance. What does that really mean? And what is aging? Aging is inflammaging. Inflammation is what's causing the aging over a period of time. So if you know these things, you can avoid the inflammation and you can age better and well, right? So I take something called calcium D bicarbonate that helps me with my gut. I sometimes take bifidobacteria. And what I was doing is I was snacking in between meals, so keeping that space so that your gut can actually have the time to regulate. Intermittent fasting is amazing. It's not a myth. It's really true. And also, I thought I was eating berries. I eat a lot of vegetables, but I was always eating the same vegetables. I was always eating the same kind of fruits. So now I've really integrated a lot of berries into my morning routine. I did a microbiome gut test. I was taking agave honey. I thought it was the healthy option, and I had super high glucose scores. So I got off the agave. Regular honey has less glucose, and even sugar's okay. My grandmother in the Seychelles Islands was 93 years old. She had 2 coffees in the morning. She had regular sugar. She was fine. It's about the compounding of all these different intolerances, inflammation factors and toxins that are going to get you to that bad spot. So counterbalancing that with really great sleep, emotional regulation, positive mindset, and understanding your blueprint is key. Here's glycan age. There's something as your regular age, and then there's your biological age. So I was really excited to see that I'm age 20, and I'm very proud to say I used to hide my age, but now I'm proud. I'm 48, so I have good genetics, probably from my family, my beautiful daddy, God rest his soul, and my mother. But I need to work on my toxin-free environments, my stress management. How do you regulate those emotions? How do you deal with stress? Oxygen. Oxygen is the absence of disease. So understanding your oxygen intake and making sure that I don't know if you guys caught the guy on breathwork, that was also really great. The motherboard, the nervous system, one of my favorite subjects. I think true luxury is a calm nervous system. We are at a huge paradigm shift in the medical world. We are moving into this state of energy, understanding how to regulate our emotions, how do we deal with stress, oxidative stress, unwinding it, the vagus nerve. So how do you deal with your emotions? Have you ever really thought about it? When we have stuff and you hold your breath and we're breathing up here versus in our belly, especially women. But we have so much dopamine and we're on our phones, and what we interpret things as, there could be two people sitting in a car experiencing the same thing, but you might see it as, oh, it's okay, let's be positive. For example, when my father passed away, I mean, he was my rock. He was my best friend. That really sucked. And I had to really learn about grieving, which is the highest form of love. And I've turned things into gratitude statements. So now I choose to say, thank you so much, dear Lord, or whatever you believe in. Thank you for giving me 48 years with this incredible man. Thank you that I had such a blessed relationship with my dad. That's not, normal. Thank you that he supported me. Seeing those gratitude statements versus concentrating on what I lost and what I don't have. So I've alchemized that energy into gratitude, into a positive vibration and frequency. Because where focus goes, energy flows. And there is such a thing as molecules of emotions. So what you're thinking creates proteins, cortisol, hormones in your body. When your mind is thinking, your body is listening. The cells are taking all of that in. So be careful what you think. Your thoughts can make you sick, but the good news is they can also heal you. And there's plenty of stories of healing with the power of your mind and your thoughts. So I'm going to take you into a very, very quick example of how we can regulate your nervous system. It's called the box breath. And I wish I would have done breath work long, long time ago. It's going to be real quick, don't worry. But what I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes and just be with yourself right now. Ignore your neighbor, ignore your phone, ignore whatever. We're going to do 5 breaths in through the nose, hold it 5, exhale 5, hold it 5. And I just want to take you guys into this because I want to show you how it really, really works. So please close your eyes. And here we go. 5 breaths in through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. You can open your eyes, and I want you to just remember who you are, and remember that you are your best friend. This is your body. This is your sanctuary. We take it for granted many times throughout the day. We're in auto program. My father would have loved to keep his body, and watching him breathe his last breath, and the reason I'm up here and had the courage to come and share everything I've learned with you the last 15 years is because I know that you can change once you're aware of this body that we disconnect from. Is your heart really connected to your mind? We're so much rushing, like, people in New York, like on Wall Street. We're thinking here, but we need to think here. This is the biggest energy that you have. This is going to go with you till your last breath. So what is coherence energy? Like I said, I think future medicine will be medicine of frequencies. Why does photobiomodulation work? Why, do things work like Tesla has said? So how you use your emotional guidance system, emotional intelligence, is if you're vibrating in a state of gratitude, love, and excitement, you're going to there's an energy field around us, and you're going to attract that to you. If you're in a state of fear, I'm not going to achieve this, putting yourself down, and by all means, we're all in the same boat here. We've all had parents that told us no, or you doubt yourself sometimes. I doubted myself. I've doubted myself so many times, but I jumped over that fear hurdle into a mode of excitement. Getting up on stage the first time, so when you change that frequency, you will attract different things to you. Think about how your heart's magnetic field impacts those around you energetically. You're depleting, on the bottom graph you can see, when you're in your parasympathetic or sympathetic, you're depleting your energy, your internal energy. And a lot of our subconscious is influenced from childhood. also generational energy that we've received from our parents. I don't know your story, but you know, most of us have had a story of a parent in war. I know that my aunt, like, she's like always hoarding stuff because she experienced war and she's always worried about food or this and that. So all these things is energy and affects your future life. So balancing your mind and emotions is key. Why stem cells? Dr. Khan, my friend, told you enough about that, real detailed, and he's really pushing the envelope in the world on that subject. But in general, yes, stem cells do work. I dated someone that was a pioneer in the field, and I got to meet people with stories of healing. What does it do? Tissue regeneration, rejuvenation of your skin, really helps with joints. If you're an athlete, reducing inflammation, which is aging. Immune system regulation, slows your cellular aging. And I really got to meet people that came from Israel with their kid that had ADHD, all sorts of chronic illness stories. A lady that came and thanked him, got up from the wheelchair and said, "I used to be in a wheelchair. Thank you so much." Also for my mother, I met 3 people that told me that they've healed their parents' beginning stage Alzheimer's, neurocognitive decline. They do an intranasal injection, or maybe Dr. Khan, they have a different way of doing it, but it does help. Granted, what works for John may not work for Kate. I don't know that detail, but there are stories of healing. So it is working, and I do say that we need to trust that more. Plasmapheresis. Dr. Burkhardt in Munich, I'm going to actually do the HRT next week. I've done plasmapheresis. There's enopheresis. It's a really great way to take blood out. It's kind of like a dialysis. Takes the blood out, separates the plasma, cleans it, gets toxins out, cholesterol, some spike proteins. So it's a really, really great way to help with autoimmune diseases. If you've had vaccinated injuries, I know I've heard stories of healing there as well. It's a really great thing to know and consider. There are many, many benefits. And also to just remove toxins and mold. Here we are at Longevity Secrets, some biohacking machines that I like. I think, like I said, frequencies is the future. Photobiomodulation, red light therapy, it's really great for cognitive decline, repair, rest and repair if you've had surgery. I love TheraThrive because what they do is they put it on your gut and your brain, so it's the brain-gut connection. And you have to always consider your immune system, and your brain is more clever than you thought. If you actually, I think they came out with a study that if you walk 20 minutes a day, you can see under an MRI how the brain is changing. So just walking 20 minutes, you don't have to be crazy, you know, biohacker pumping muscle. My grandmother walked, my 93-year-old grandmother walked every day on the beach, on Beauvalon Beach. She did her, you know, 20, 30-minute walk, slow. And in the old days, they used to walk a lot. In the blue zones, Dan Buettner talks about it, a lot of them walk. So it is sufficient. I love Dolphin Neurostem. It stimulates the vagus nerve, but also different areas. It's kind of like an acupressure with microcurrent. So you have this little device, and you can stick it in the different areas, helps you sleep. I use it to calm my vagus nerve or my nervous system sometimes, or I regulate through breath work. NanoV technology breaks down the proteins. I really love this machine. They help repair like oxidative stress and cell damage. You can you just inhale it, so you can, you know, get an IV drip. Some of these great longevity clinics, you do an IV drip and inhale it, and it helps rest and repair your cells. Brain Tap, one of my favorite devices. I love to meditate. I've done 4 Dr. Joe Dispenza retreats, and really changed my life. I highly recommend breathwork or meditating. If you would have told me 3 years ago that I love to meditate for an hour, hour and a half, I would have been like, ha ha ha, that's never going to happen. And but I can now. And the way I learned it is just like training a muscle. You go and do weights, and I remember my first retreat. I just wanted to know how come all these other people were so calm, and they were telling me these stories of how they'd manifested certain things. And I was like, really? But they talked like they knew what they were talking about. And I met people like who stood up from wheelchairs. And my brain was telling me that's not possible. They're paying them. There's no way. And so I got into it, and I did 100 days, except for Sunday. Every day at 6:45 a.m. sunrise, I hit the on button with 2 other girls in Miami, and we did an hour and 10 minutes, and I've been moving in a different frequency now. And instead of in the 3D world where we have to go chase something, you learn a technique to attract it to you. I could tell you a lot of stories on that one. But yeah, so BrainTap is a great device where it kind of does a force reset, forces you into meditation. They have a lot of great sounds, music based on what you like. I think you need to find what works for you. And they have the photobiomodulation included. So sound, light therapy. And that moves you into a different state. So here's my profile, Island Natalie. I started out about 8 to 9 years ago, and then the yellow, if you go in it, is Elevate Life. That's the show where you can see I just recently had Chris Beat Cancer on. He was stage 3 colon cancer. He talks about mindset. It is really important, and nutrition, changing his diet. Allopathic medicine is outdated. If you just understand your nutritional deficiencies, that's a big key of the problem. So if you'd like to connect with me, if you'd like to understand which test to take, you can go to Health Shops. It's on the website, natalielefevre.com. And I'm also a health optimization expert and happy to help guide you or anyone, whether they're looking for preventative longevity or if you have some type of chronic illness. I happen to know a lot of really amazing, incredible, visionary people in the space, so I can always guide you in the right direction. You know, the goal is to be the CEO of your life, you guys. Like I said, I'm here to impact your life. I hope that you take this very seriously and don't wait until something blindsides you to really take this beautiful sanctuary that's going to be with you till your last breath seriously.
Super. Thank you very much, Natalie.
Thank you.
We have time for some questions. Any questions for Natalie?
Oh, good. They know everything.
Oh, fantastic. Nobody? Come on, it's a nice chance. Yeah, we have down there and a running mic.
Hi. Thanks for your talk.
I can't hear her.
Oh.
Okay, you need actually to get mic.
Thanks for your great talk.
Thank you.
I'm curious to hear more about the blood cleansing. What are your thoughts about doing blood donation? Does that even help on cleansing your own blood? Because you kind of you need to I don't know how to say it exactly, but you are provoking your own body to produce new blood cells. So I'm thinking that may help on the blood cleansing as well, but I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that?
You should probably ask Dr. Borkhardt or Dr. Khan on the precise version of that. For me, I think the blood cleansing is great because you're cleaning out, you have about 400 liters of blood in your body. So cleaning that dirty toxin that you're swimming in, it's kind of like a fishbowl. So you're breathing that in, your mitochondria is taking that in. So that's why plasmapheresis and enopheresis is a way to, if you just get rid of a little bit, you still have the toxins in there. So it's not really going to completely get rid of that. I am probably the type of person, based on another genetic variant that I found, for me it's good to get rid of it because I have excess. But yeah, for the average person, you need to think of cleaning your fishbowl. And just a little bit of blood excretion is not going to clean that.
Okay, time's up. Thank you very much, Natalie.
You're welcome.